All right, folks, let's go ahead and take a look here at Avalanche. And just before we do, we look at Bitcoin first to get a quick baseline of the market so we know what's going on. I do want to thank you very much to my patron for requesting that I cover this. Thank you very much. Really do appreciate you. And if you're new to the channel, I'm not a financial advisor. I just have years of trading experience. This is always for educational purposes only. But my goal is to help you become more of an effective trader. So if you're interested in that, feel free to check out the link in the description below for my trading community. I send out signals for every trade that I take, and it's a really awesome learning experience for everyone. Speaking of learning, let's go ahead and take a look here at Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin one-day chart. First and foremost, we have a major resistance at 56,000, support level at 53,800, secondary support at 52,600. So we got this nice little support channel here. Potential resistance, if we can break above 56,000, we should see a push towards 64,000. Now, bear in mind, there might be some support and resistance channels within that, of course, but for right now, that's kind of what we're looking at. There's an ascending wedge pattern here that could imply that we have a breakout to the upside soon. Just note that tomorrow being Monday, it might even be Monday for you already right now if you're watching this. Mondays are red days here in the US, at least it's just in general, everywhere, obviously, but I've noticed more specifically during the hours, the trading hours, the typical trading hours for the US, we see Bitcoin sell off more rapidly on Mondays and Tuesdays and Fridays. Those are like the common days we see sell off days, whereas, Wednesday through Thursday, Tuesday through Thursday are green days, and weekends are green days too, because the whales are taking their time off and they are essentially holding the price action. They're not doing anything, right? We're moving the price action over the weekend. That's why you see slow, continuous growth instead of significant jumps up and down, right? So just keep that in mind. Something to note. I mean, this was obviously a weekday, this green day here, right? Just to give you something to consider. We never see that on the weekends. All right, moving on to Avalanche. Now that we understand how Bitcoin is performing, we can kind of understand how Avalanche is doing here as well. So keep in mind, with Bitcoin hitting 56,000 getting rejected, we're seeing a lot of selling off from some altcoins right now, just based on the fact that there's like that cooling off period. It's pretty standard. I would say it's, we're not really at a greedy, but we're not actually at a fear index, if you will. We're kind of right in the middle for most altcoins. So that being said, we're seeing Avax kind of slowly trail off. And the main reason why is because it got too high for its britches, right? In other words, it really ramped up here. In fact, I believe I covered this a few times back here. So look at this, 1 week period, about almost 200%, 178. Then of course it consolidated. It actually stayed right in that range, which isn't terrible, because even though it came back down almost about 40%. It was able to recover and come back up. Just bear in mind, right here in early September, Bitcoin is doing very well, so it pushed the price up. Now that Bitcoin is essentially going sideways, for lack of better terms, just kind of consolidating, and it jumped up really fast, Avax is kind of trailing off. And the main reason why is because, again, it got too high too quick. That's my personal opinion. But that being said, it spent a lot of time. Its average true range is here between 62 and 77. Now it's below the support level here. Okay, so we got to respect that in the sense that this is now a major resistance. So 6150 is a resistance level, whereas we have the new support at 5548. I don't say it's not necessarily a new support, it's just a previous high. I think it was the most previous all-time high before it ramped up a second time, and that's going to work strongly as a support level, right? So just keep that in mind. Previous all-time highs are extremely strong once they break and become support levels. So good news is we're trending closer to this. Bad news is we lost this support here and we're kind of getting rejected by it. So we're just in this little channel for the moment, right in between 50, what would just paraphrase and say 56 and 61, okay? So that's kind of where we're at there. Let's go ahead and check the moving averages. 50 is coming to the rescue. So this is a good sign. The 50-day simple moving average is working its way up. That could intersect with the price and continue to push it back up again, okay? So that's a very good sign. We like that. Our site is under 50 right now. I don't love this. This basically just means that we are considered to be bearish still. So until that 50-day simple moving average can push the price up past that resistance level of 50 on the RSI, or this resistance level here of 61 roughly, then we're going to be seeing more bearish divergence. And we can see that here as well, of course. The price is just plummeting down. Now bear in mind, this looks very exaggerated. I don't think it's going to go tremendously lower, right? We see that strong support level with the previous all-time high. I think we're going to hold true to the sense that this is probably as low as it's going to go. In other words, the momentum, right? So we should see the momentum start to shift, and we'll probably see this start to taper off. Bears are going to lose control, and the bulls will take control. Just bear in mind, this will not happen overnight. We're probably a good week or two out. at least before we see that, right? So we shouldn't expect miracles here anytime soon, just based on the technicals alone on the 1-day chart. Let's look at the 4-hour though. We're below both moving averages. Also not a great sign. That is pretty standard though for a coin that's been selling off for this long. We're still stuck under 50 on the RSI. Also not a great sign, but we do have here another divergence on the MACD. So really there's no good indication of a buy signal here for Avax right now. In fact, I'm willing to venture to guess that we are closer to the end here. Okay, so this is kind of a good sign. This is kind of the silver lining. We've got TD sequential telling us that we're at a 7 out of 9. Now, when it comes to TD sequential, what it really does, it tells us when we're looking at exhaustion, right? So as we can see on the 1-day chart, the Avalanche is having trouble. It's going down, right? But it's reached a point where it's kind of like almost exaggerated, where it's inevitable for the price to come back almost, right? Especially when we're trending closer to that support level. Therefore, we see a 7 right here. We could expect at least 8 more hours of consolidation / retracement, and for the price to maybe average out somewhere above 56, but also below 61. Okay, so it'll probably average out somewhere here in the middle, maybe around 58. And in fact, it might actually, because we got a potential support level here on the 4-hour, it might actually average out right around 58.63. So we want to keep an eye on that little support level, see what that does. But bottom line here is that we're likely nearing the end of this negative trend. I think it's good. We're going to see a turnaround soon. So if you are, bullish on Avax, which I still think it's going to continue to progress upwards, one thing to note though is we will probably not see anything parabolic from this again, at least not for a while. That's my guess. Even if Bitcoin takes off and just shoots to 64,000 tomorrow, we'll probably see this kind of slowly progress, but we can't expect 2, 3, 4x. Imagine how high it already is extended at this point. Is it going to go much higher, right? Look how much movement it's had. So yes, it's done very well, and it's broken its previous all-time high from what was earlier in the year. I don't really see it, shooting up to the moon, right? So just be realistic in that sense. If you were looking more so for just say a day trade of some sort, that might be advantageous here. Yes, a swing trade would work. We might see $100 this year, but I don't personally feel like we're going to see a 2 or 3x anytime soon, just based on the way that it's moved previously. Okay. Yes, it did very well there. Don't get me wrong, but it's already very overextended right now, and to see it get that much higher of a leg up is very unlikely. Yeah, so just consider that. And then taking a quick look at the 1-hour, let's just go ahead and quickly identify here if we're obviously below the cloud, but I just want to note this here and just quickly help you understand what this looks like, and we can call it a day here. So the cloud, first of all, price is above, considered a buy signal, below is a sell signal. That's as simple as it gets. If you're setting up the Ishimoku cloud, you want to disable the first 5 spans, just that way you can understand, kind of just pay attention to the plot's background, because it gives you a firm understanding of what's going on. The other stuff is relevant, don't get me wrong. It's just more complex and something you probably want to educate yourself on first. But simply put, when we look at this here, price is below the cloud, so it's not considered a buy signal. We want to wait for it to break above the cloud. So hopefully the price will continue to go sideways here, and we'll see some sideways action. The cloud will probably start averaging out here, and when the price breaks above the cloud, again, coincidentally right here around $61, we will then be considering that a good buy signal. Okay. Between now and then, it's kind of a risk, as we can see, it just kind of keeps on dropping down lower. We have to, honor that system. In other words, on the resistance levels, right? We lost this support. It's now resistance. Looks like we might even lose this support here too. It's hard to say, but $58 might get rejected soon. If it does close below on the 1-day chart, you can pretty much safe to say it's going to be in this lower channel. Again, not terrible, because I feel like 55, 56 is the lowest point in which we should see, based on its all-time high being the very strong support. But just keep that in mind until we're back above the cloud. I would not consider this to be a good buy signal, or not a good buy for the moment. So just pay attention to that. All right, so hopefully you found benefit. If you do, obviously join my Patreon community. I have a trading community. I think I mentioned that earlier, but simply put, I help my traders become more profitable traders. Simply, it's as straightforward as that. I send out signals for my trading communities. I average about 85% success rate, and I can confidently say you'll be profitable if you consider looking into that. But if you're just really looking for a leg up, somebody to walk alongside you, have a better experience, jump in there as well, because I make these videos for my patrons, and that is the specific reason for that, to ensure we're all successful and we can all learn and grow together. Again, check that out in your own time. Thank you so much either way for making it through this video here. It shows you have strong potential to be a good trader because you are trying to learn as much as you can. So learn as much as you can from as many people as possible, right? Not just myself, but I can tell you, you're in good hands if you decide you want to continue to subscribe and or join me. Looking forward to getting to know you better. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks again. Have a good one.